HOA Karen banned. My mom from her porch got 3 months in jail. The neighborhood was a postcard of suburban bliss, manicured lawns, pastel houses, and kids on bikes until Karen moved in. Her voice could curdle milk, and her glare could make flowers wilt. She declared herself the HOA's unofficial enforcer, and nobody dared cross her. My mom, Eleanor, was the opposite 72, with a laugh like wind chimes and a habit of baking cookies for anyone who'd take them. She'd lived in our cul-de-sac for 30 years, long before Karen's reign of terror began. Mom loved her evening walks, waving at neighbors, petting dogs, and sometimes leaving a tin of her famous oatmeal raisin cookies on someone's porch. It was her way of keeping the community warm, the glue that held us together. But Karen, she saw Mom's kindness as a personal affront. It started small. Karen sent a letter on HOA letterhead she'd printed herself demanding Mom stop littering with her cookie tins. Mom laughed it off, thinking it was a misunderstanding. "Maybe she's just having a bad day," she said, ever the optimist. But I saw the glint in Karen's eyes when she watched Mom from her porch. Arms crossed, lips pursed like she'd swallowed a lemon. It wasn't a bad day. It was war. Karen's porch was her kingdom. She decked it out with tacky flamingo statues, a neon welcome sign that flickered ominously, and a security camera that tracked every passerby. She'd sit there for hours, sipping iced tea and barking orders. "Your grass is half an inch too long, or that mailbox isn't regulation." Neighbors grumbled but complied, too tired to fight. Mom, though, wasn't one to bow. She'd wave at Karen during her walks, her smile a quiet rebellion. Karen hated it. One evening, Mom left a tin of cookies on Karen's porch, thinking it might soften her. The next morning, we woke to a certified letter taped to our door. Karen had banned Mom from setting foot on her property, claiming the cookies were unhygienic and a public nuisance. The letter threatened legal action and cited HOA bylaws that didn't exist. Mom was hurt but shrugged it off. "I'll just walk around her house," she said. But I was furious. Karen wasn't just bullying, she was targeting Mom to break her spirit. The tension simmered for weeks. Karen escalated, posting signs around her yard. No soliciting, no cookies, no Eleanor. Neighbors whispered about it at mailboxes, half amused, half horrified. Mom kept walking, her head high, but I could see the strain in her eyes. She'd spent decades building this community, and now Karen was dismantling it, one petty rule at a time. Then came the twist. Mr. Jenkins, the quiet widower next door, got involved. He was 80, walked with a cane, and rarely spoke. But he'd always loved Mom's cookies. One day, he shuffled over to our house with a bombshell. Karen had been forging HOA documents. He'd found a stack of her fake letters in the community center's trash, complete with fabricated bylaws and her signature scrawled in red ink. "I thought you should know," he said, his voice shaky but firm. "She's gone too far." I showed Mom the evidence, expecting her to rally. Instead, she sighed. "Let's not stir the pot, sweetie. She'll tire herself out." But I couldn't let it go. Karen wasn't just a nuisance. She was a tyrant. I started digging, talking to neighbors, collecting stories. Karen had fined Mrs. Lopez for planting roses too red for the neighborhood aesthetic. She'd reported the Wilsons' dog for barking at 6 up in him. She'd even called the city on a kid's lemonade stand for operating without a permit. The neighborhood was a pressure cooker, and Mom was her favorite target. The breaking point came on a muggy August evening. Mom was on her walk, humming a tune, when Karen stormed out, screaming that Mom was trespassing by walking too close to her property line. Karen had drawn a chalk line on the sidewalk 6 inches from her lawn and claimed it as her territory. Mom, calm as ever, stepped over the line and kept walking. That's when Karen lost it. She grabbed Mom's arm, yanked her back, and shoved her. Mom stumbled, her basket of cookies spilling across the pavement. A crowd gathered: kids, neighbors, even Mr. Jenkins, leaning on his cane, wide-eyed. I ran out, heart pounding, and found Mom sitting on the curb, her wrist bruised, her face pale. Karen stood over her, ranting about respecting boundaries and HOA violations. The neighbors were shouting now, some defending Mom, others yelling at Karen to back off. It was chaos, raw and ugly, like a storm finally breaking. I helped Mom up, my blood boiling, and promised her this wasn't over. The next day, I filed a police report for assault. Karen laughed it off, claiming Mom had provoked her by invading her space. But the security camera on Karen's porch, the one she used to spy on everyone, had recorded everything. The footage showed her grabbing Mom, shoving her, and screaming like a banshee. The neighbors rallied too. Mrs. Lopez brought her own complaints about Karen's harassment. The Wilsons shared photos of Karen's fake HOA letters. Even Mr. Jenkins testified, his voice steady as he described finding the forged documents. The case went to court faster than anyone expected. Karen showed up in a garish pink blazer, smirking like she'd already won. She claimed Mom was a menace who'd terrorized her with cookies. The judge wasn't amused. The security footage was damning, and the stack of forged HOA letters painted Karen as a liar and a bully. The prosecutor argued that Karen's actions weren't just petty, they were criminal. Assaulting a 72-year-old woman over a cookie tin wasn't a misunderstanding. It was malice. The courtroom was silent when the judge delivered the verdict: 3 months in jail for assault and fraud, plus a restraining order barring Karen from contacting Mom or any neighbor who testified. Karen's smirk vanished. She sputtered, demanding a retrial, but the gavel came down like a thunderclap. As they led her away, she shouted about injustice and her rights. The neighbors in the gallery didn't clap or cheer. They just exhaled, like they'd been holding their breath for months. Mom was quiet on the drive home. I thought she'd be relieved, but she looked sad. I didn't want her to go to jail. She said, I just wanted her to stop hurting people. That was Mom always seeing the good, even in someone like Karen. But I felt lighter. Justice wasn't just the jail time. It was the neighborhood taking back its peace. Karen's porch, once a throne of terror, sat empty. Her flamingos toppled by a storm the night after the verdict. It felt like the universe was nodding in approval. The aftermath was healing but bittersweet. Mom started her walks again, her cookie tins reappearing on porches. Neighbors hugged her, thanked her, and shared stories of their own run-ins with Karen. Mr. Jenkins became a regular at our house, swapping war stories over coffee. The HOA held an emergency meeting and voted to dissolve Karen's fake bylaws, replacing them with a simple rule: be kind. It was Mom's idea. Karen's house went up for sale a month later. Nobody knows where she went after jail, and nobody cared to ask. The neighborhood felt whole again, like a wound stitched shut, but the scars lingered. Mom's wrist healed, but she walked a little slower, her smile a little softer. I wondered if she'd ever forget the way Karen's hand had gripped her, or the way the cookies had scattered like broken promises. What do you think? Was Karen's punishment fair? Or did it go too far? Should Mom have fought back harder? Or was her kindness the real victory? Share your thoughts. I'm curious to hear them.